has gone long. A second consecutive title here at the Denmark Open. On their first match point. It's long. This time they convert. Only needed the one opportunity.
Hello everyone and welcome to Badminton Weekly with me, Jasmine Lim. The best players in the world were back in Denmark once again, but this time for the Victor Denmark Open in Odense. And just like in Copenhagen, we saw top-notch action throughout the week where milestones were reached and of course, titles won. So plenty to recap before we look ahead at the Yonex French Open, and I'm delighted to welcome back former Australia player and coach Jeff Doe to talk us through it all. Welcome back to the show, Jeff.
Thanks for having me again.
Let's start with the men's doubles category where Aaron Chia and So Week's wait for a maiden World Tour title finally came to an end after a dominant display against the Indonesian pair, Muhammad Shohibul Fikri and Bagus Maulana. How much pressure do you think this title took off their shoulders?
I think it's a huge celebration and a huge relief at the same time. Look, it's their 7th World Tour final, so they've been expected to win for so long, but winning on the last day is not as easy as winning on the other days because there's so much pressure involved. We know that they're a world-class pair, but sometimes when they're not playing so well, they can get a little bit negative, they can make some errors, but I found that with So-ying in the front court, really dominated well, and Aaron Chia in the rear court, big smashes, but lots of variation, lots of angles as well. Aaron's, I think, a very, very smart player and tactical player on court. And I think that both of them played really well. And once they got the lead, they didn't give the lead away easily, and they were able to maintain the control of both of the sets in the finals.
We have gone through all the finals and couldn't get the title yet. And now finally did it. I guess it's a motivation to go to further, and it's a process, I think, for us.
It's a total relief for us. There's no more question about when you're gonna get your first World Tour title and all. I think that's the question will be, when is your second title coming up? Yeah, I believe there's more to come. Yeah.
Now moving on, there was much talk surrounding the men's singles final with Zii Jia looking for back-to-back titles. But China's Weng Hongyang had other ideas and completely dominated the Malaysian in a straight set win. Jeff, how impressed were you with Weng here?
I was so impressed this whole week. I've seen him play in the past, but not a lot. But now I think he's really made his mark on world badminton with his performances. He was so fast, he was so, his attacking play was so accurate, and I felt that against Zii Jia, he was able to push Zii Jia around the court, like all four corners with speed, and then inject even more speed to hit the winning shot. So I was very, very impressed. And there were some situations where I saw where he was reading the play so well. He was anticipating Zii Jia's shots. Even in attack, Zii Jia usually will hit quite a lot of winners in his games, but he didn't hit many winners against Weng because he was so switched on. Yeah, like I said, I was so impressed with his performance. Let's see what they can do in France in the next tournament, purely because they do face each other in the first round. So that will be a blockbuster match for the first round of the French Open.
心情非常好吧，也非常开心嘛，自己拿到高级别的第一个冠军，所以说然后也意味着自己走下殿台，下周也马上也新的一个赛事，所以说自己还是要好好的调整身体，准备好下一个比赛。
Lee might not have won the title, but securing his place in 2 finals in as many weeks is still a great feat. Jeff, is this a sign that we're seeing the old confident Zii Jia once again?
I think this is the road back for Zii Jia, and I'm really, really happy to see that. We saw when he was performing very well, he had a lot of expectations on himself, and also probably from a lot of fans as well. So I feel that Zii Jia has let go of that a little bit more and he's playing more for himself. I feel like he's more comfortable out there. I feel like he's able to be himself more out there. And when you're able to do that and feel better on court, of course your performances are going to get better. So I'm hoping that as he starts to be more comfortable, he gets confident that he can still win these big titles, play very well, that we're going to see more and more of this Zii Jia that we're used to back on court.
There was a battle of Olympic champions in the women's singles final when Chen Yufei took on Carolina Marin. It was also a rematch of the Indonesia Open final, and just like she did then, Chen outplayed Marin here. But Jeff, what do you think gave the Chinese an edge here?
Look, Chen Yufei is always known for consistency. And I think that, yes, she's very consistent. She can play all day and she doesn't make any errors and she can defend so well. So it's already very difficult to play against her. But what I've noticed more recently is that rather than just being known for consistency, she's been able to really influence some of the play with her attack as well. I feel that she can inject speed a lot very well compared to the other women's singles players. So you can see her kind of defending, being consistent, and all of a sudden she can inject speed. And I feel that when you are playing someone like Carolina Marin, if you're able to absorb all of the attacks, because we know how good Carolina is in her attack, if you're able to absorb them, get everything back, then quite often you can set yourself up for an attacking opportunity yourself. And I think that she did that so well against Marin in the finals in Denmark.
确实很开心，然后因为弥补了去年的遗憾嘛，因为去年虽然是输给队友，但也其实挺可惜的，对，然后自己也一直在努力的去提高自己吧，然后今年能拿到冠军，我觉得非常开心。
Finally, the standout match of the finals was the all-Chinese affair in the mixed doubles when Feng Yanzhe and Huang Dongping took on the world #1s, Zheng Siwei and Huang Yaqiong. It was an intense showdown, but Feng and Huang fought their way back to win their first ever Super 750 title. Now, Jeff, this match is a great example of how much Feng has improved in this partnership since the start of the year, isn't it?
Definitely. I think that when I first saw Feng play, he was very good. His attack was very good, but he lacked a little bit of maturity, a bit of game sense, and that's what you can expect from junior players. But just within 1 year, I think he's matured so much. His defense around his body, which I thought was a little bit weaker at the start of this year, is so much better now. You see him playing the points better. You see him tactically more aware of what he's doing and not just going fast or just hitting hard. He's doing a lot of placement. And we know how good Zheng Siwei and Huang Yaqiong are. And you can really see how they've developed against a top pair like this to beat them this time. But I think that that Feng has improved himself, and Huang Dongping, as we know, is just amazing. She's just solid. She can set up the points so well. But now that they've been playing more tournaments together and getting more success together, I feel that they're working a lot better as a combination. They're moving better, they're rotating better, and I feel like they're more comfortable with each other on the court as well.
Along with the fantastic action on court, Odense also saw Tai Tzu-ying achieve a significant milestone in her career. The Chinese Taipei #1 secured her 500th career victory in both women's doubles and singles when she defeated Busanan Ongbawmrungpan in the second round. And to showcase just how amazing Tai's career has been so far, here is a short video to highlight some of her best statistics.
我其实没有想太多，因为我也不懂这500的那个累积到底是经过了多长，或者需要多少的比赛可以达到这个成就。但是我觉得很开心，就是可以去做到这样子的，因为是女单的第1个嘛，我不太清楚。我觉得没办法，因为太多了， 你看我打了10几年，16、15、13，才到了现在。我觉得我只希望后面的比赛可以，都是保持得很健康，然后去备战明年的巴黎奥运。
Oi, what a perfect net shot from Tai Tzu-ying.
The calendar continues in full strength as Rennes takes center stage next for the Yonex French Open. This will be the second Super 750 tournament in a row, and as much as this is good news for the fans with non-stop action, Jeff, how do you think some of the players would cope with the hectic schedule?
Yeah, that's really tricky when you've got so many high-level tournaments in a row. Of course, we had the Super 500 in Finland first, then Denmark, and then now France. So fatigue is a huge factor. So for the players who are competing in the semi-finals and the finals days, to recover, to get ready for the next match, both physically and mentally in the early days of the following week, it is very difficult, and that's where we do see some upset losses where some players lose when you don't expect them to, and sometimes injuries and withdrawals as well. So it's difficult to tell exactly what's going to happen, but we all know how important recovery is and how anything can happen in those early rounds.
Home fans would definitely want to see their local heroes go far this week, but with some of them having a tricky opening round, how do you see the French team doing?
Yeah, look, I think it's really exciting for France and French players and the French badminton community, because I do think that France is one of the up-and-coming countries, especially in Europe and in the world as well. With the Popov brothers, we've got Christo playing a blockbuster match against Lo Kian Yu of Singapore in the very first round. They've had some really good matches in the past. Christo's actually up in the head-to-head 2-1, but I feel that Christo is a very disciplined player. So he will follow the game plan very well. He's not going to do anything crazy that's not part of the plan. And I think that with that structure and with that tactics, that works well against someone like Kian Yu.
Now, if we look at the mixed doubles category, Tom Jikel and Delphine Delroux has been drawn in a strong quarter. How much of a challenge will that give them to go deep here?
Look, I really like Jikel and Delroux. I think that their game structure is really solid, with Tom at the back, Delroux at the front really dominating, and then Tom hitting these really steep attacking shots from the rear court. So I do think they've got a really good chance of doing well in France, especially in front of their home crowd. It's a 750 event. There's no easy rounds, but if they do perform well, then I do think that they can make it to the quarterfinals, where they'll likely meet Feng and Huang from China, who just won Denmark. So that will be a big task for them. But I do think that there's potential for them to make that quarterfinal round.
Finally, a match that has captured the attention of fans online is the women's singles opening fixture between PV Sindhu and Gregoria Mariska Tunjung. This marks a rematch of their second round encounter in the Denmark Open, where Gregoria fell short. What do you think the Indonesian can do differently this time to seek revenge?
I feel like she can take a lot of positives from the Denmark Open, especially in that first set that she did win against PV Sindhu. I think that in that game itself, she was really able to use her variation and her shot making. I think that's her big strength. She has a really good ability to play deceptive shots, play cross-court net. So for her to play better in France and maybe come away with a victory, I think she needs to take the positives from the first set in Denmark, use all those shots she's got, keep that pace up. Because if she doesn't, then Sindhu, as we know, is a powerhouse and will just power her off the court with those big smashes and pushing her around the court.
Well, that is unfortunately all the time we have for this week's episode. Thank you so much, Jeff, for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you.
And for all of you at home, don't forget to catch all the action from the Yonex French Open starting from the 24th of October all the way through to the 29th. And if you guys are on the go, don't worry, you can still catch the latest news, match updates, and statistics through our BWF app, Badminton for You. And finally, you guys know what to do. Leave your comments, thoughts, and questions on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Take care, everybody, and bye-bye for now.